Hello and welcome to the Walk and Live podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're going to talk all about our trip to the mainland. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. The Walk and Live podcast is a weekly conversation between Brooke and I about rhythms, faith, marriage, parenting, emotions. It's a place where we laugh and sometimes cry as we try to find the language to live a more joy-filled life.
Yes. And if you like your listening to line up with your living, then you are in the right place. I was surprised that you switched it for joy-filled instead of full. And so I was like, whoa.
Both
different.
Joy-filled and full.
Fulfilled.
A fulfilled life.
I believe they're connected.
They are connected. Thank you for being here. Sorry we took a unprompted 2-week hiatus from the podcast.
Yeah.
Not our plan, but as we tell the story, as we tell the tale.
Is that the title of this episode? Not our plan?
Not our plan, yep.
Stick to the plan.
As we weave words to tell you a tale of our travel, you'll understand sort of why that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But it's all good. And why don't we just jump right into it? Because
I am struggling a little, not that it totally matters, but to remember the last episode we had.
The last episode was Rhythms Made Simple. It was just the modules for Rhythms Made Simple because we were cleaning, packing, getting ready to go. And
then I do remember that.
We can't record a podcast, so let's just do the Rhythms Made Simple, which that course is still available. It'll always be available.
Yeah.
Buy it. Do it now.
Nice. Shake my hand.
Shake my hand. Do it.
Shake my hand.
Shake it. So how do you want to do this, babe?
Okay.
Upstairs or downstairs?
Yeah. Let's go upstairs and talk about what was supposed to happen.
Okay. All right.
We were supposed to
spend 14 days on the mainland.
Yes. We were going to leave on a Tuesday night because that's typical when you're going from Maui to the mainland. A lot of them are red eyes.
Yep.
So we were going to leave Tuesday night, which would put us landing in Georgia Wednesday morning.
Yep.
And then we would have all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, all day Friday. The wedding would be Saturday, and then we would leave Sunday to head up to Pennsylvania, where we would stay a little over a week. It was like 8 days up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would come back to Maui. So that was the plan because we wanted time for the girls to not only spend time in Georgia. And I mean, there were things like, I think there was like a breakfast at somebody's house before the wedding and there was the rehearsal dinner and there's just Georgia. Like we could just do Georgia stuff.
We've heard that the Atlanta Aquarium is top notch.
And we wanted to give the girls a little bit of time to adjust like time zone wise.
Yep.
I didn't want them to just be like losing it on the wedding day because they think it's whatever time.
We also had, Jeff had his Art of Teaching workshop on Maui. And so we thought we had one pastor staying at our house. And so we had a couple people staying here. So we were getting out of the way to let them stay in our house.
Yeah.
And we were going to go.
It was like perfect.
It was perfect timing.
We're
Everything
like, they can totally stay here. We leave Tuesday night.
But apparently,
come on over.
But apparently, flights don't leave anymore. So that's like a thing that they're trying out. The airlines are trying out.
I'm not sure it's going well for them.
I don't think it's the right move from a brand perspective. But
hey, you do you, right?
I mean, give it a shot.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of weird brand moves lately. So
I guess this is
another
the airlines.
one.
Okay. We're going to try not flying half of our planes.
Yeah, let's just see how that goes. If people like that. Turns out they don't.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell this tale in some detail.
Yeah.
Because I think it's worth telling and it's pretty funny in retrospect. So I am an upper class citizen. Let me just start there. Brooke is sort of like a peasant. She has to go through the normal security line at the airport.
Yeah.
While I can journey on past those plebes and walk to the TSA pre-check line.
Yeah.
You know, they give you a bottle of water. They massage your shoulders.
They give you like a hot towel that smells like lavender.
Lavender towel. Yeah. They, if you want to take the time, they'll do your nails, give you a pedicure, manicure. It's really nice.
Yeah,
TSA pre-check
so
is great. Do they do any of that in the regular security line?
No.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. So we go on Tuesday night. We actually...
We were so ready that we left way before we needed to and stopped to eat dinner somewhere.
Yeah, so one of the pastors...
Because we just had to get the girls out of the house.
And I was like, hey, can you just give us a ride to the airport? And he was like, yeah, sure. His name is Brian. He's like a 6'10".
He gets taller every time you tell the story.
He's 7
I think he's 7'11".
He is a descendant of Goliath. Our girls were just in awe of him and his tallness.
This is not hyperbole. Hyperbole. This is not hyperbole. Hyperbolic speech. I think he is the tallest person the girls have ever seen in real life.
Yeah.
Like in their own, like next to them.
They were just standing on the back of our couch and just being like, "You're still taller than me."
Yeah.
Yeah. He's tall.
Yeah.
So our house was ready. Our bags were packed. We were as ready as we've ever been for
amazing.
A trip.
It was great. I loved it.
Slow as smooth and smooth as fast.
Slow as smooth and smooth as fast.
So we had Ryan drive us to the airport, but we had plenty of time because the girls were just so amped and ready to go.
Can we go?
And we're like,
no,
okay.
We got like 3 hours left.
Yeah, let's just go. We'll stop at Chick-fil-A. We'll go inside to eat. That's how ready we were.
Yeah.
We could go inside. And we were kind of eating quickly, and Brian's like, I haven't been around a family that has young kids. You guys eat pretty fast. And I was like, yeah, sorry about that. And so drops us off at the airport. We go through, I decide, because we have plenty of time, I'm just going to slum it with Brooke and go through the normal security line.
Yeah.
So, but when you go through the normal security line, as a TSA pre-check elite United Premier Silver member, they give you like a little laminate card that says you're TSA pre, so you don't have to take off your shoes and do those things.
Yeah.
And so June, Sunny, Daisy all get this card because they're all under me, and I get the card. And so she gives me the card, and we shuffle through, go through the security lines, no issues. And we had time to get, we got coffee.
Get all the way to our gate. We still have time, which is great. Like if I have to choose between one or the other, I'm going to choose that option. Yeah. It's so much better than like feeling like you're going to miss it.
Brooke is an early airport arriver.
Sprinting and sweating. Like it's just not.
So upon arrival to our gates, I realized that I don't have my ID. I look in my bags and I'm like, I think with the laminate card, she didn't give me my actual ID back. She gave me the card. And so we look in all our bags and I'm like, all right, I'm going to walk back slowly. Got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Go to security. They're about as helpful as a pile of bricks. It's weird when you like, hey, I think this happened. And the person you're telling this to is like, just accuses you of being an idiot without. They're like, yeah, but did you check your bag? And I'm like, no.
I didn't even think to look in my wallet. I just walked down here and accused you. I walked down
here to ask you this question. Didn't even think about that. I checked my hair. And so they were very unhelpful. And I'm like, okay. So I just walked back, and our flight was going to board at 7:05. And Brooke's going to one last bathroom trip with the big girls.
Yeah.
And
because it was like 7. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, we got 5 minutes. Everybody's going to pee one last time before we get on this plane for the night.
And while they're in the bathroom, I hear this announcement on the airport intercom. That's like, Muh-see-tis. And I was like, they said my name. That must mean that's for my ID. So I'm like, I call Brooke. She doesn't have her phone with her. Classic. That's a classic Brooke move. I love that for her. I don't love it for me, but and so I'm like looking. I got sunny wide eyes at the bathroom, waiting for her to come out.
I'm going to see them.
And I figured that you heard it. I figured,
in the restroom with all the air, the hand jets, and all the things happening.
And so I'm expecting you to come out and
have
match my energy.
I did not. I'm so sorry.
So you come out and look at me like I'm a crazy person.
I look at you like, oh crap, they're bored. We've missed it. They're boarding. How's this possible?
And so you walk over and I'm like, they just made an announcement about my ID. And so
I was like, run.
So I start sprinting full speed to TSA.
Through the agriculture scan and
everything. And I start sort of laughing at myself because in my mind, I am telling myself, TJ, this is what you've been training for. CrossFit is functional fitness for everyday life.
And this
and
is
here
it, baby.
it is. And so I'm telling myself that to motivate myself to run.
Keep running.
But I also know how ridiculous it sounds in my own head that I'm saying, you've trained for this. So I get there and I expect the guy that's like the security guard on the back end of TSA to just have it.
Yeah, and be helpful.
And I'm like, hey, they just made an announcement with my name. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun. It's fun talking to you, sir. Who would make that announcement? I don't know. Again, this is really a really fun conversation. Then he's like, why don't you ask that person? They're not doing anything. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? I'm fine. Right now, sweat is beating on my forehead.
Oh, yeah. It's not a cool airport.
Yeah, so they usher me to someone. She's like, oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
It's about as slow a walk as you can imagine, which is fine. I'm a patient person. So they give it back to me, start running back.
Except that our plane's about to board.
Yeah, and I think our plane's about to board. And so I start sprinting back again, motivating myself by reminding myself that I've trained for this. And I get back to the gate and I'm just like a sweaty mess.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
And at this point, they hadn't started boarding.
Right, which is a little surprising.
But also... I don't know. Sometimes it says 7:05 and it's like just, 5-10 minutes late and they don't make an announcement.
I tell Brooke, hey, I'm going to go into the bathroom and take my shirt.
You're so warm.
Take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And just sit in the stall to cool off.
Yes. To which I think to myself, I think the bathroom's hotter. There's no air.
It is.
But
you didn't say that out loud.
No, I thought it, but I didn't want to burst your bubble.
So I go in there, take my shirt off, start sweating more. Now I'm half naked in the airport sweating, but at least I have my ID.
Hey, at least you can get back on that plane. That's about to board.
And so I come back out. Within like 10 minutes of my heroic sprint, they delay our flight 1 hour. And so this is the beginning. This is
the beginning. I will add, it was when we were in the TSA line that we got the text. When did we get the Hawaii?
When we were checking our bags.
When we were checking our, so back up even before security, we get a text that's like severe weather alert or however they phrased it.
Yeah, the ones that like beeps on everybody's phone.
Everybody gets it because they're local and they're pinging in the area.
Yeah.
So everybody's picking up their phones and checking their phones and it says something like...
brush fire in Alawalu.
Yes, fire in Alawalu, road, whatever the name of it, is closed. Meaning that the only road that goes from this side of the island to the west, like Lahaina side of the island... is closed. There is a single road that goes around the edge and obviously it was closed because of the fire. Now, we know, but we didn't fully put it together yet, did we? When I read that, I thought, oh, okay, Bummer Town.
Yeah.
Some people are going to miss this flight because they're trying to get to their flight and they're going to be stuck on the other side. What a bummer. I did not think about the fact that we know because of TJ's mom that the flight attendants they sleep there like that.
They stay at a hotel near Kaanapali.
That's
Shores.
where they it's arranged for them to stay there by the airlines.
And so
didn't put that pieces of the puzzle together.
So they delay the flight. They say we're waiting on the crew to come from Lahaina. And
yes. And then
we've been stuck in Lahaina for 8 hours one day.
We told that story, I'm pretty sure.
And so
that's what's happening to them.
We're thinking...
Except they're probably not at a mall splash pad.
Yeah.
Like we were.
Yeah. Spending $40 on 6 diapers. Still better. No, I'm just fine. So we're like, okay, well, I know to go to Maui now to like check and it's like, okay, road's closed. And then I check later and it's like road's open. And I'm like, okay, like, hopefully they just make it through. And there was another flight going to LA beside us, like an American Airlines flight that their crew showed up. And I was like, okay, our crew should be here soon then.
Yeah.
But turns out they got stuck too far back because then they had to close the road again because the fire was like, they couldn't get the fire under control.
Yeah.
So after 2 hours of delays, 3 hours of delays,
2 to 3.
They cancel our flight. Yeah. They say, hey, there's no crew. Everybody gets the text. It's like, come back tomorrow.
Because it was like in the 10 o'clock realm by now. Because we would have boarded at like 7 something and we were taking off like just a little bit before 8.
Yeah. So we text Brian, call Brian, say, hey, tell Brian, can you come pick us back up?
Yeah.
We have to go get our bags from baggage claim.
We're coming home.
Yeah, we're coming back. And he's like, and at that point it was just him and another couple that was staying here. So it's plenty of room. And we come back, we get our bags, we come back.
The girls are emotional.
June is weeping into her hands because she thinks like life is over. This is not the plan.
Yeah.
And I think you could speak to this more than I could because I think this is more your personality than mine.
Okay. Weeping into my hands or?
No, well, maybe a little bit. When things don't go to plan, it affects you on a much deeper level than it does me.
Yeah.
And June definitely has that characteristic.
Yeah.
And so what's going on in her head, do you think?
I don't know. But often, it's funny, April mentioned something similar at the event this past weekend. And I was like, ooh, I relate to that. To me, when I am like, whoa, this wasn't the plan. The thing is I hope this is true about me. I'm actually capable of being pretty flexible.
100%.
I hope I'm very laid back.
Absolutely.
And then I also can think pretty quickly to come up with a new plan.
I agree.
Those things are not the issue. What the issue that continues to surprise me day after day is that there are expectations I didn't know I had about the plan. I'm not consciously up here on this level thinking, all right, we're going to get on this plane and it's going to go this way. And if it doesn't, like I'm not really thinking about it. But then when it doesn't happen, my feelings feel disproportionate in like frustration or whatever to what I thought they'd be. And so I end up feeling surprised that like, oh, I care deeply or I'm really mad or whatever. And so my assumption is that Junie felt that a little bit, that she was just like, oh, this is not what I thought was going to happen. Right. Bless her heart.
Yeah, so she's crying.
Everybody around was
every
like
parent around
nodding, like I feel you, and that's exactly what I want to be doing right now.
Go back to baggage claim, text, come back at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Your flight has been rescheduled. So we go home, we sleep, we come back to the airport, but all the kiosks are broken. So
that's a nice addition.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like there's just a fun little
we
thing.
drive up to the curb to get out, and the line to just like get your boarding pass or check your bags or like that line there. I was like, oh, wow.
That's long.
What is happening?
Yeah.
That's not normal.
And so I send Brooke through security with the big girls. I stay with Daisy to check the bags. There is a United Premier line that was much shorter.
Yes. So you did get in that, right?
Yep. Turns out there was a celebrity in that line, the lead singer of Metallica. No idea. Someone told us later. I asked him to collab. He said no. Said, Shirts and Skins could get together for a reunion tour if you're into it. He was like, please go away. So we're waiting in line. The lines are not moving quickly. Everyone's got questions, but finally we get through, check bags. Brooke is headed to gate 1. The Maui airport is shaped... No,
I'm where we were the night before. I'm at gate 36.
36. The Maui airport is shaped like a giant U. There's basically 2 main like...
terminals.
That's not... They're all one terminal.
Oh, that's true.
But it's like just 2 main like chutes of gates, like 1 through...
So you come out through security into the middle.
20 through 39.
And you go left or right. Yeah.
And so she's at gate 30 something, which is all the way at the end. She gets a text that the gate has changed. I'm still not through security, but she texts me, hey, the gate has changed. We're now at gate 1. And so
total opposite
end. And the annoying thing about the Hawaii airports are that you have to, any non-check bag you have has to go through this agricultural scanner to scan for bananas and fruit and veggies and stuff like that. Yeah. Just to make sure that you don't like bring an invasive species off or on the island, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. To the island or
And so, or I guess off the island because
that's true. They're scanning them differently on the way in. Yeah.
So changing gates when you have to go through that is just a tad bit more annoying because you're like, I got all the strollers, I got bags hanging off the strollers, but anyways, whatever. So all the way to gate 1. And now at this point, we're like starting to meet people because we've been in the same boat together for 24 hours, or not quite 24 hours, but.
Yep.
And, but no, you're at gate 35. You get it. Then we go to gate 1. Yep. We sit there for maybe like an hour and a half.
But the good news is that you stood in line and you checked our bags. And then before you came to me, they gave you a bunch of vouchers. They were like, oh boy, we feel bad. Go buy some food at the airport.
No, we didn't get vouchers that day.
We didn't get vouchers that day?
No, the next day.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so we're at the gate 1, flight's delayed an hour, 2 hours, change gates. gate 39. So everyone's like,
we're all talking to each other by now. Like, wouldn't it be funny, but not if they change the gate one more time? Because it was just sheer chaos.
Yeah, sure enough. So everyone walks back, delayed another hour. And so I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't think we're leaving today. I go to talk to the person at the counter. Everyone's like, and this is where I would really encourage everyone to like really think about the tone of voice that you're talking about situations like this. You could just hear the sort of like vitriol and like kind of nastiness in people around you.
Talking to each other. Just about like the general situation, which like obviously these gate agents have no control over. Yeah.
Almost nobody in this airport has any control over what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's just like, and so our kids can hear the tone of voice that we use. That's honestly most of what they pick up on is our tone of voice and body language. And so, you know, just be aware of that when you find yourself in these situations, because these
super unfun.
Yeah. And so I'm waiting in line to talk to the security gate, the gate agent. I see security come up to the gate and I'm like, they're about to cancel this flight.
Yeah.
Like they're about to do this. And sure enough, she makes the announcement.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, people
you could just see it in her face. You can just
hear sort of like the uproar of people. And it was just, you know, and so we had to go back to baggage claim. Thankfully, we had driven that day. So we just went back and got our car from the parking lot.
Yeah.
Told tall Brian.
Hey, we're coming back. I don't know who was in our bed or if anybody, but
we got to switch around. We were able to like fit all of our girls upstairs.
Yeah.
And
that's when we went straight to
Target.
So
then we went straight to Target to buy them gifts because we just felt so bad. Like we're just like, this is not a fun day. Brooke bought marshmallows and Rice Krispies so she could make Rice Krispie treats. And
the girls bought Lego sets.
And we got a text again, 11 a.m. the next day. And we're just like,
we're trying again.
Okay, here we go. And at this point, now we're flying out on Thursday morning. You know, we will get to Denver at Thursday night. We will have one shot to make it to it. We'll have a few shots to make it to Atlanta on Friday.
Yep.
To make the wedding on Saturday. So now we're starting to get to the point of like, if we don't get out tomorrow, we can't go to this wedding. Like it's physically impossible for us to make it to this wedding because of the time change and the travel length and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we go back to the airport, kiosks aren't working, do the whole thing again.
But we have a plan.
Yeah.
I will say that we have gotten really good at traveling as a unit and as a family. Like our girls know what to do. Yeah. We have our systems in place to be like, you're in that line. I'm in this line. We're moving this forward.
100%. And so we check all the bags. And at this point, we now have to like, that night we had to like reorganize bags because we knew we were going to stay in Denver one night because
without our checked bags. The goal was to send our bags all the way to Atlanta.
So we reorganized the bags. I booked the hotel in Denver because I'm like, United is a mess right now.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm getting a quick and easy hotel voucher when we land in Denver airport at 9:30 p.m. So I booked the hotel in advance, which is all thanks to Cindy Muh-see-tis and her years of plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And so this time when we check our bags, they give me a stack of vouchers just like,
a day ahead.
Here's your apology. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I can buy some crusty pizza.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Now the 2 days I've sat here are all forgiven.
There you go. Yeah. But you walk down to meet with them and they're $15 each.
We each got 3 of them.
But we each got 3, maybe even 4. I was kind of surprised. So we ended up with like a few $100s.
In vouchers that had to be used within 24 hours.
That had to be used in an airport, only in food places. So like I couldn't go to the bookstore and buy a book, but I could go to certain convenience places.
Yes. And buy a book.
So it was like, it depended on which store it was.
Yeah. And the Maui airport's pretty tiny. There's not a ton of, like, you don't have like a Hudson News station every 30 feet.
No.
So we've been reading this book about finances and guy talks about depreciation assets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he's
what?
Like, if you can help it, he's like, you can't always help it. Sometimes you have to just buy something in life that depreciates really quickly.
Yeah, like
but a way to save or make more money over time is to aim to buy something that doesn't depreciate as quickly. And so we were just getting giggly about this concept of like, all right,
we got these vouchers. What can we buy?
What can we buy that will depreciate? Food immediately depreciates.
Yeah,
it's worth nothing.
But in the airport, there's a
There's a place.
There's a place where you can buy fresh water.
Pick your own oyster and open it up and rip a pearl out of it.
I was like, babe, let's buy $200 in pearls. Sell them on eBay.
We're making money right now. Turns out can't spend it. So I was like, I bought some coloring books. I tried to go to the nicer stand, remember, where I had already spent $38 on keychains for the girls. That was fun. And so I went back there because I was like, they got good stuff, like good gifts and stuff. But she was like, you can't use it here. So I backtracked to like Tiki to go or whatever it was called, and was like, can I use these here? So I bought bugles, I bought Muddy Buddies, I bought some coloring books. Can't buy gum in the Maui airport anywhere. There's signs that say we no longer sell gum because it was a cleaning problem.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, what's up with people and their gum?
Yeah. So we make it on that flight. I'm now looking back, I realized on Wednesday, I didn't see a single flight attendant or pilot walking through the terminal.
From any airline.
And so
it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
You should see crew members walking around.
And so Thursday, we see him show up.
We do it.
And we're like, we're going to get off this rock.
Yeah.
Here it's happening. So they board us, we get on the plane, we taxi. And I've never been on a flight where literally everyone cheers when we took off. Right. Like people were so excited to finally be on their way to the destination that there was like an audible cheer. I've been on a lot
where you, like, especially a long time ago, where like everybody would cheer when you would land.
Yeah.
Like, yay, we made it and it was a smooth landing. I remember that as a kid.
So, we've already been sitting now for 2.5 days, and now we have to sit on an airplane with a toddler who doesn't want to watch a movie in our lap because we didn't, because she's under 2, so we don't have to pay for a ticket, which I don't know if that's worth it.
I flip-flop pretty violently between like, it's worth every penny to buy her own seat and guarantee the space. And then there's times where I'm like, but that's so much money between all the tickets and all the things. Anyway.
So flight goes pretty smoothly.
But we had a seat that time.
Yeah, there was a seat.
There was an extra seat, and the very sweet flight attendant, when we were like, hey, if nobody's going to take that, can we have it? And she was like protecting it hard. I'm sorry, sir, you can't sit there. Yeah. Like, you can't sit there. It was so great.
Yeah. And so flew the whole way, no issues, landed in Denver, and the Denver airport is like complete chaos. Yeah. There are, and I'm not exaggerating when I say at least 1,000 cots. Yeah. Maybe even more spread out throughout the Denver airport. And so
like Coleman camping cots.
Yeah. So, and I'm guessing they're prepared for that because if they get like a heavy winter storm, people are just stuck and have to sleep. So that I think
it was like emergency cot stash. They brought it out.
And so we found out because of my mom and a disgruntled United employee in the Denver airport
who was sharing his dark things with us. Yeah.
His strong feelings with us while we ate donuts in the morning.
Shake Shack breakfast.
Yeah. Shake Shack breakfast. Yeah. He was saying, so my mom was saying that the FAA asked almost all the airlines to cancel a certain amount of flights because
a high
amount, thousands of flights because there aren't enough air traffic controllers, which is a little scary.
Not enough qualified.
Yeah. So, and I think all of this is like linked to COVID and retirements and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's all jumbled together.
My mom said, my mom was offered a retirement package from United. She didn't take it, but a lot of flight attendants did. Yeah. Pilots did. And so I think they're understaffed. Yes. Also, all their customer service agents went to work from home. Yeah. And
are not really doing their job.
And this disgruntled employee explained how they don't have any accountability. Yeah. And so there was, because I looked on Twitter, I only check Twitter when things go wrong. And there were people with like screenshots of like 8 hours being on hold with United.
Yeah, no one's answering.
And this is happening for customers trying to reroute themselves. Yeah. But it's also happening for crew members trying to figure out, okay, my flight got canceled. And when your flight gets canceled and you're still on call.
You're still on duty or on the clock or whatever.
You get transferred to a new flight. And so customers can't reach anybody and crew members can't reach anybody. So
it's truly chaos.
So it's just chaos. So when we arrived in the Denver airport, we saw that chaos on full display. Yeah. People sleeping. Then we went to bed because I couldn't check our bags all the way to Atlanta. So we had to get our bags again. And
thankfully there is an airport, or sorry, not an airport, a hotel, and a nice one. Yeah. Literally attached. Like you walked outside through like a courtyard and you were in the lobby of a hotel that we were staying at. And I was like, this is the coolest thing.
And thankfully I booked it the day before because I heard someone be like, do you have any rooms
available?
And she's like, no.
Yeah.
We're sold out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy.
Like from our window, I could look down and see through the glass
to security,
the security line.
Yeah.
Like, which was kind of cool to watch all the stuff. The girls were super into it.
So we go up to the room. We can't find our car seat. So I'm like, let's just get into the room. I'll come back to get our car seat.
Yeah. We're all so hungry.
We're all so hungry. Nothing's open. And
it's
because
now
we're at
11:15 at night.
Yes. And
Denver time.
Because we're at the airport, there's no like DoorDash because you're in the middle of nowhere because there's no like, you know, they always build airports outside of cities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, we got to order room service. That's just what we have to do.
There's at least room service.
And it was open for like 45 more minutes.
Closed at midnight.
So you order it. I'm like, while I'm waiting for it, I'll go down and find the car seat in the cast. Like there are just hundreds of bags just lined up on baggage claim everywhere. People are looking through them. There's like, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. I've been in
like busy, crazy airports, and this was like, what is going on?
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And I'm part on sort of the FAA and the employee issues. There was also storms in the Northeast and storms in Denver.
Yes.
Which are United's
unrelated
too big.
To the fires here.
Yes.
It was just like a perfect storm of storms.
Yes. And so why don't you tell them what happened while I'm getting the bag?
Okay, so you leave to go find the car seat bag because a car seat bag is technically like oversized luggage. Sometimes it's not put on, for whatever reason, not put on the same luggage carousel. And so
here's a strong feeling of mine.
Yeah.
Why? You are telling, so my strong feeling.
Well, here's the thing. A car seat, although it is a weird size, it's not super oversized. It still fits. I understand you're not sending somebody's like pole vaulting stuff down the thing. I get
it. You travel with a lot of pole vaulting stuff?
I have in a past life. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I guess they just don't want to differentiate.
But
so
you're
it's like
making
all oversized.
The family with a kid small enough for a car seat to have to go through regular baggage claim and then find this extra mysterious baggage claim that you have to talk to a guy wearing a poncho to get to.
So we order room service, which looks delicious. I would say it's Maui pricing. I wasn't like, but I was also like, you know. So
couldn't use our vouchers.
We tried. And so
I've been trying to use those vouchers ever since.
Do you accept these? It's like Kohl's Cash, except we're not in a Kohl's. That's how I felt. So maybe 20, 25 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. This very sweet woman who turns out, I realized after the fact, doesn't speak any English.
Okay.
So me talking to her the whole time, pointless, because she has no idea what I'm saying until the end. She goes, no English. And I was like, oh, okay. So the chaos of my children right now and me explaining it, whoosh, right over your head. Anyway, so she pushes the cart in, and it's beautiful. It's like all plated really pretty, and we have these big like goblets of ice water and like
the silver
just like it was a really well done room service, and they didn't just like hand it to me on a tray. They she brought it in and set it all up. And I think June thought, this is the highest I'll ever get in life.
Yeah.
I have made it. This is the coolest thing. I might be a princess or some sort of royalty and I didn't know it. Like her face and her energy surrounding that room service table coming in was worth every penny.
It just become like
it was just so good. We were also very hungry. So we ordered a lot of food, like maybe a little more than we needed, but thankfully it was excellent.
Yeah.
I got this like sausage queso that was spicy but bomb.
Yeah.
I got like a Mexican bowl. The girls got a quesadilla that was really good. I got wings. Like
we were hungry.
And we ate most of it. So thankfully the food was delicious. Mm-hmm. And it was this really sweet moment of like, you know, we were at lowest of lows.
You know, she's sobbing into her hands like a few days before, like just devastated.
We would have already sat on the runway or no?
No, that was the next day.
day.
And, you know, just thinking like, this is never going to work.
Everything's awful.
Everything's the worst.
Yeah.
And to this moment of like, I might be royalty. I might be the princess in the Princess Diaries.
It
me, you know, and.
Because I've been working hard. I think I've talked about this a little bit over the last like 6 months or so to help the girls put into perspective and context that like a hard moment doesn't mean a hard day.
Yeah.
Like I'm having the worst day ever. And then I've been trying to give them language about how like, that's not totally true. You're having a few hard moments. And I've talked about that chart I made that like shows you every single minute in a bubble or can show you every hour in on a piece of paper. And like, this is your whole day. And here's 4 little minutes. Let's color those 4 in. Like those were hard and those were really hard, but it's not your whole day. And so I actually felt like we've made some progress in that area because the girls did well with all the, they did all really the well. Lines and the changes and that they were tired and Daisy was napping in a stroller for days and it was just like chaos. And so it was really sweet to see like, I don't know, I'd have to choose a different marker color to color in the bubbles that were the room service coming in because it was just like highest of highs. Yeah. Sheer childhood joy. Yeah. Over.
And they might not remember it a few years from now, but you will. And it's like this core memory of like, even amidst the like chaos and frustration of things far beyond our control and plans not going anywhere near what we thought they would. Yeah. We can still, as a family, find these pockets of joy that are worth it.
Oh, like, I got a pocket. Got a pocket. I got a pocket.
So I got it. We're all sleeping in the same room. They bring up a crib for Daisy. Yes. We decide June is going to sleep with Brooke. Like we didn't want to put the girls in the same bed because they'd be too squirrely. I'll sleep next to Sunny. And
Daisy's only slept in the same room as all of us 2 or 3 other times in life when we stayed at your sister's house. And that's tricky because our girls are, for the most part, really great sleepers. And they have their room with their fan on and like they have their routine. Yep. And so in the past with June and Sunny, it was tricky if we were in the same room as them because they were just like, what's going on? I can see you. Why am I in this crib?
Yeah.
Help.
So thankfully we turned all the lights off. But Daisy's in that age where she sort of like sings. All of our kids have sort of sung themselves to sleep.
Yes. And I can remember their different little songs.
And so, but Daisy sings a little bit and then she just goes through all of her words.
Yes.
Mommy, daddy.
But in the mama, daddy, June, me. So it's totally dark. We have a sound machine running on the iPad. Papa. And June and I are kind of like whisper giggling like, oh my word, she's so cute, blah, blah, blah.
Bianca Bishop, co-host of B&B After Dark, she calls her Gonka. And so as a fan of comedy, I cannot contain myself. And so in the pitch black of night. She's
saying every word she knows.
And so I go, Gonka. To which I know, I'm like, this is going to irritate Brooke just a bit. But I think the comedy will outweigh the irritation. Yeah. And Sunny and June lose it.
They cannot get it together. They think it's the funniest thing that's ever happened.
And so, again, just this moment.
And it was great because Daisy like didn't miss a beat. No. She wasn't like, oh, somebody's talking? People in here? Like she just kept going and then kept singing her Wing Feather Saga song that she knows.
And so, again, just like amidst the unplanned chaos of life, there's this really funny moment that we've talked about a few times since. Yeah. So we all sleep. We get up. Our flight leaves at 8:50. So we get up pretty early. Yep. The security line in Denver was crazy when we landed. So we were just like,
I was like, how is it this crazy at 9 p.m. at night? Like, and so, what am I going to do in the morning?
So pulling another Cindy move. I'm like, I'll wake up early. I'll go check all the bags because I can walk to the airport. Yes. And then I'll come back and help us get all ready. So I did that again.
Which was great.
Super nice. And another thing I've learned is like, if you're nice to employees, they're super nice back.
For the most part.
Like almost they're at least not hostile back.
Yes.
Because I feel like we're in the era of customer service where you have 3 types of employees. One is actually nice and helpful. Yeah. They're sort of a rare diamond in the rough, but you do find them. 2, I call them the Gen Z zombie. They're not always Gen Z, but that's the best phrase that I have for it, where it's just like, are you AI? Are you like
Are you here? Can you make eye contact and say words that aren't mumbles?
They're not hostile though. So it's
no, they're just
you're just like, okay, and they don't really explain anything. Yeah. You have to, they sometimes have literal AirPods in and you're just like, really? Yeah. Is this happening? Yeah. And then there's like the third, which is the one you don't want, the active, hostile employee that's like irritated at you and you're like, I haven't done anything to you yet. Yeah. But I'm about to.
In your sleep. Yeah.
So I go check the bags, come back up, we get ready. Again, we're trying to get through the line early because I can see that it's super long. Yeah. I take all the girls through TSA pre. We get our pedicures. And then we meet.
Thankfully, the line wasn't too bad in the morning. I actually think by the time we did all the things, we were through around an equivalent time.
But we still have like 2 more hours left on our voucher. So we're like, we'll go into the airport to eat breakfast.
Yes,
and so we don't have to pay for it.
we're still within the 24 hours of this expiring.
Yeah, so we go to Shake Shack, we get breakfast, we get donuts at Voodoo Donuts in the Denver airport.
Yep.
And then
still got money to spend.
We sit next to this guy who kind of gives us all this United information. And he's like, oh, looks like your flight's on time going out of this gate. Like, super friendly guy. He was born and raised on Oahu. So like we connected.
So crazy.
Terminal B. So we get in a tram, we go to Terminal B, we get out, we spend some more of our vouchers, we sit at our gate.
More bugles.
We get a text, gate change, C47 or whatever, so we're like, okay, let's go back to the train.
So we're schlepping our way through the other side and we're on one of those like moving walkways when the guy we were talking to is like, hey, whoa, he like sees us as we go flying by on the moving walkway. Did they change your gate? And I was like, yes. Yep. So we just kept going.
So then our flight is delayed. And at this point I'm like, I think we live in an airport now.
I think we live here. And we did text Abby and say, please prepare yourself for us not to make it.
Yeah, we just
I need you to know if a day and a half in advance that there's a chance you are not going to have Flower Girls.
In this like section of the airport where cots are all out, people are sleeping like dead asleep.
There were people sleeping. Remember that courtyard I said we walked across from the hotel to the airport?
There were
people sleeping outside on the grass in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Out there. And I was like, oh my goodness.
There were like flights, like there was a flight to Portland that was like, we're just waiting on one flight attendant to come. She's just landed. Like, and when she arrived, people cheered. Like it was sort of, you could overhear people talking and saying, okay, if we fly to here, we can rent a car and each of us drive 4 hours. Like you just hear that sort of like general chatter throughout the airport of people just being fully convinced that they're not going to make it to wherever they're trying to go. Thankfully, we board the Denver airport. We got some more vouchers before that. Bought some lunch, bought some drinks, like just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Brooke laid down on the cot for a little bit. Daisy took a nap. Yeah. But it was like a 4-hour delay.
It was long.
And we had already gotten to the airport early, not knowing what the security would be like.
Yeah.
So we were in the Denver airport for about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Then we get on the airplane and they taxi. And this is where I almost broke.
Yeah.
Daisy falls asleep and they're
on your lap.
On my lap, which you always want, but you want it to happen in the air.
Yes. I want it to be counting towards the travel time that we're in
and
that we're flying.
The pilot's like, hey guys,
here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That was the line that he kept saying.
And it was
hey,
delay.
Here's what we're going to do here, guys.
Too many airplanes trying to take off, delay. I think we were on that runway for like an hour and a half.
Yes.
And that's the worst. I can wait in an airport all day.
Yeah.
But stuck on that runway for an hour and a half, it almost broke me.
Yeah.
I had...
But we got to the point where we dipped down through so much sadness that we came up into delirious giggles.
Yes. And so before the flight, the night before, downloaded this new... the first 2 episodes of this new Apple show called Hijack.
Yeah.
And starring Charles Minor.
Yes.
Minor, I barely know her. And so I'm watching this show with Daisy asleep in my arms. And again, when you're stuck on the runway, they don't turn the air on. So it's just like a hot box of farts.
Yeah.
And I find myself thinking about this show. Well, at least they're in the air.
Yeah. Their plane is currently being hijacked. And it's like a stressful situation. And I'm watching kind of over your Daisy's shoulder and reading the subtitles. And I'm like, oh man, they got really nice snacks on that plane. Like
at least they're in the air.
There's a snack bar in first class where you just stand up and pick what you want off the wall. It was like I couldn't believe it, but that's where we got giggling.
Yeah.
And you were being the pilot.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do here. We're just going to sit on the runway for 2 more hours. We're going to turn off the air. And then you were like, we're going to give the guy in, let's say row 15, seat B, a bag of trail mix, extra nutty. Because nothing gives you worse gas on a plane than trail mix.
And we're going to take all the baby's binkies away and good luck.
Here's what we're going to do here.
So eventually we take off. Daisy had woken up from her nap already. So I'm like, oh man, we got 4 hours.
Still not in the air, child.
Just, and that plane was packed tight, no extra seat.
Yeah. But we do get in the air.
We do get in the air.
We fly.
We fly to Atlanta.
We land in Atlanta.
At about 9 o'clock?
Yes. So the rehearsal dinner is basically over at this point. We have missed it, which is fine. but we missed it. And it was to the point, like, and because of the delays in Denver, there was a brief moment of time where we thought a family friend of Abby's was going to pick us up at the Atlanta airport. And then we kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And I was like, don't make this person do that. Like, we're just going to rent a car so that we are in full control of what we need to do.
Pulling a Cindy, I had reserved a car 2 days before.
2 days before, just in case.
Because my mom always says, they don't charge you to reserve a car. Reserve as many as you want.
Yeah. I'm just reserving them all over. So they're not going to depreciate. And so we land, you like follow all the signs.
Atlanta is just as chaotic as Denver was.
Just less cots.
But like bags, like at baggage claim, bags are
People
lined up.
People everywhere.
And
we follow the signs. We get our bags, which was a whole thing.
Yep.
We get one of those carts. We pay for one of those stinking carts to carry all of our stuff because we need to walk all the way out of baggage claim to the rental car center, which was through a tram, which was through a sky trolley tram thing. That part was cool. The girls were into it, but I was like, seriously, we are still moving. I have described one of my issues, if you will, with travel, something that gets to me on a physical sense. And I think it's because I'll throw it back to the Enneagram. There's 3 parts, right? And so you could be in the heart, you could be in the head, or you could be in the body. Right. I am very much in the body. Yep. And so I genuinely feel like I'm affected differently body-wise by certain things than other people.
100%.
And so I've described traveling as, like, I don't dread it. I don't even dislike it. I just recognize that my physical body, I feel what it feels like to be catapulted through time and space, because I'm going to get in a car and then I'm going to get in a plane and then I'm going to get on another plane and then I'm probably going to get in another car. Like, my body has not stopped moving in that sense for hours and hours and hours. And that gets to me. So anyway, so we get on this tram trolley. We finally get over to the
rental car center. And there is a line
I'm not kidding you, maybe 250 people.
And I'm just like, oh, what rental car company?
Tell me this isn't the one we
because I just always do it through Costco. Yeah. Thankfully it wasn't, but our line was still long. There's like 3 people working in the whole place. Mm-hmm. And so we have to wait again. Yeah. Just one of those days where we waited in every line that you could possibly wait in for all of time.
Yeah. And no pearls.
And with no pearls, no investments from our vouchers. Yeah. Just bugles.
So many bugles.
I will say that we have a new Sunnyism that we're going to heavily incorporate into the podcast. Okay. It started a few weeks ago, but it was really heavily used during travel.
Yes.
Sunny gets a coloring book from a friend. It's like a Halloween coloring book.
My mom sent it to her like months ago. It's random.
And so she opens it up and decides she wants to color one of the pages. Yeah. And there's a pair of witch's shoes on the page.
It's like these little boots with like a star and a moon. And
she's like, and Brooke's like, well, you can color that page. And she goes, no, I don't want to color these old lady yuck shoes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to color these old lady yuck shoes. I was like, that is the most accurate description of witch's boots. They do kind of look like old lady yuck shoes. It was so great.
And so Sunny using yuck as an adjective is just a part of our family.
Yes.
It's just a part of our family vision now.
Oh, this yuck plane floor. I was like, I know, girl. I know. She used it a bunch and I can't even remember all of them. And so we just kept
saying like, oh, I got yuck bones. Oh, I got yuck pits.
I have old lady yuck body and I need to shower so bad.
So
we get our stinking rental car. We get in. We have to drive 45 minutes to bless their hearts. An actual place to stay.
Yes.
Like it was sort of like an apartment in somebody's basement kind of
that they had offered Abby as a family friend favor. Like, hey, if you have anybody that needs to stay here, we got plenty of space.
This is great. We have a crib. And I was like, I could kiss your face because to arrive to a real home.
Yes.
It just was like.
And they had bought us some groceries.
Oh my word. And I could tell that maybe they had asked Abby about the groceries because they were very specific. I felt like they were very specific to us.
And so what was supposed to be an arrival at that house on Wednesday morning, at like 10 a.m.
Yeah, a little like before lunch.
Ended up being Friday night at 10 p.m.
Yes.
That is the difference in time.
Yes.
And so we get there.
They're so nice.
Yeah, they're so nice. Girls are hungry. We make eggs. We sit down. We organize beds. We fall asleep. And we get up the next morning and start getting ready for the wedding.
Pretty much. And we let the girls like watch a movie. They wanted to run around outside. Yep. And then I was like, I didn't want to rush them. And so I was like, all right, girls, like, I I need you to shower because I need your hair to dry in time so that I can like do the wavy thing on your hair in time. And like, I don't want you to feel stressed, or I don't want to be stressed, like getting ready for a wedding.
So we go to the wedding.
Daisy's got a nap.
We get Chick-fil-A on the way.
Yeah.
So we have something to eat. We walk in and Abby is 10 minutes away from doing her first look.
If
and that's when
she's
we
like
see her.
in place in the corner. And I was like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
Do we need to back away? Back away.
And it was so sweet to see the girls just like run and she was smiling. It was just like a really precious moment. And there definitely was a time during that 3 days, whatever it was, that I was questioning my love for Abby.
Yeah. So the lady whose house we stay at, she's like giving us the tour of the house, leading us down the stairs, introducing us to the dog. And as she's going down the stairs, she's like, I know. And I was asking myself, man, they just must really love Abby. And I was like, yeah, I severely questioned my love for her on the way here.
And one of the things that we kept going back to is Abby asked our girls to be flower girls. Mm-hmm. She spent a lot of time with them. Like they have a precious relationship together.
Yeah.
And we don't know where that relationship will go. We don't know if it was just like a few years and like we won't see her very much and like we'll just drift apart, that type of thing. Or someday Abby might play mentor to one of our daughters. Like we don't know. And so to just say, hey, all this travel, all this frustration isn't worth it because, well, we only knew Abby for a few years and like, let that be that.
Yeah.
And so we don't know where things like that will lead or what will happen or what sort of like little seed that will be planted that will harvest way in the future. And so I think oftentimes we look at the immediate future and think, oh, that's not worth it. Mm-hmm. And what we don't see is maybe what God is doing 10, 15, 20, obviously we don't see those things.
Yeah.
And so we might be missing out on something incredible and beautiful 20 years from now because we weren't willing to sit in an airport for 3 days today.
Yeah.
And so I just kept reminding myself and Brooke over and over again that like, we don't know what what harvest will come from these seeds we're planting today.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. And I'll add, I think I talked about it one time briefly, but I saw this reel. It was so random. I like want to remake one because with the concept because I just love it. It was this video of this little kid in the back of a canoe, like a beautiful video. I don't know where they were in the world, but it was like epic footage. And the mom's in the front, and you can tell the dad's in the back because they're filming. And there's this little kid in this tiny little life vest, and he's like hanging over the side with his hand in the water. It's this really cool shot. And it just says typed over this, like, I'm going to butcher it, but something about like.
It says I'm going to butcher it?
Yeah, no. That says like, you're right. He might not remember this.
Yeah.
Like, but he's also not going to remember the shows he watched today and it like listed these other like more generic kid activities. And then it just ended with something like, but it's going to be part of who he's becoming.
Yeah.
And I loved that because like, it is, I don't know if it's culture or whatever, generational. Like, I don't know where this like, they're not going to remember it. So it doesn't matter comes from.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I'll remember it.
Yeah.
Just June will definitely remember it.
Yep.
Like Abby will remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Will Sunny remember it? I don't know. But will Daisy remember it? I don't know. Like the trip as a whole. It's like, but that doesn't mean, because like, will they remember we went to the pool that day here? Like, I don't, it's like so much pressure is on the like remembering it for it to matter.
Yeah.
And when we talk about like who we're becoming and
we don't just
what
list
we're
off
filling our kids with, like their buckets with, like, that's where I'm like, oh, it does matter.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not remembered, it's still becoming part of who they are. Because if I take either of those examples to an extreme and I picture a kid who has a pretty normal life, never really travels or never does, you could insert anything that's even not travel. Like, but if they're not going to remember it, so we're not going to do any of it. The side that like never does it in the name of they won't remember versus the side who's like, I don't care if they remember or not. We're going to go do X, Y, Z. And you get to a 35-year-old version of those children, those people.
Yeah.
And they are wildly different people.
100%.
And so I'm on team. Like, I don't care if we remember it.
And it's,
I hope we do, like 100%. Some of it, but.
And it's practice in training our kids on what it looks like when hard things happen in a controlled environment.
We had great conversations about that.
Like
Junie was I'm so disappointed we didn't get to go to this thing. And I was like, me too.
Yep.
Me too.
And so, I think when we don't do hard things in the name of not remembering it, or we just don't want to, or,
the discomfort's too much. Yeah.
We miss out on sort of those moments of teaching, of training. And we want to train our kids to be good adults. We want them to see what it's like. I don't want them to be like the lady who was just like yelling and screaming that she needs a free hotel and $10,000 credit and all this kind of stuff behind me. I don't want them to be that adult.
Yeah.
And so they need to see an example of someone who isn't that adult while they're young, which I hope to be.
Yeah.
And so again, we got less than 36 hours in Atlanta. We saw Abby just for the wedding.
Yeah.
Sunny was so sweet at the rehearsal. She's like, do you think
at the reception?
At the reception, do you think Abby would color with me right now? And I'm like,
she was hot. Her dress was itchy. So she changed into her clothes and I have a picture of her. She's sitting at the table with the coloring book she just got in like a gift bag from Abby and is coloring these unicorns. And is like, I'm going to go ask Abby to color with me. Who's currently on the dance floor doing like choreographed dances with her best friend. I was like, oh, honey, I don't think now is the time. I'm so sorry.
And
I'll color with you.
Yep. And so again, just like a chaotic first part of the trip. We'll get into the second part of the trip next week and the event and stuff.
Yeah.
But in all, worth it. Like as much as I want to say it's worth it. It's worth it doing hard things because there's discomfort on both ends. And we sort of talked about this at the event that, and I like this example specifically because I've seen this one sort of like in a real Instagram thing. It's like, it's just as uncomfortable to work out now as it is to wait in a doctor's waiting room to prescribe you tons of medication later.
Yeah.
There is discomfort on both ends.
Yes.
I think one of those discomforts leads to a more fulfilling life.
Yes.
And so there's discomfort on traveling as there is on not traveling.
Yeah. But 100%. That's like the two kids I was talking about. Like there's discomfort staying here and never doing the things and never going anywhere and never challenging your kid to whatever. And
so if we want to be the type of people, like I always tell Brooke, I want my kids to know that family is worth traveling for. I want my kids to know that marriage, like a covenant between two people and God, is worth traveling for and celebrating no matter the distance.
Yeah.
And so because I want them to be people like that.
Yeah.
And so if I don't teach them that now, my discomfort on the other end will be, hey, they never visit me. If we end up living in different places, they never visit me. Yeah. And now we're lonely grandparents just hoping our kids will come.
With a giant pearl collection.
Yeah. And so many vouchers and Kohl's Cash that we just don't know what to do with it. And so again, I love how Josh and Christy always say like, parenting's a bad word. The word is becoming. And so if we want our kids to become good adults, we've got to become them first. Yeah. And we've got to do those hard things.
Well-rounded, whole, emotionally functioning, capable of communicating about communicating adults.
Jesus loving and worshiping.
Yeah.
Faith-filled living adults.
Yeah.
We have to show them that in all areas of life.
Yeah.
Not just in, the easy areas of life. Right. And so what I'm thankful for this trip is that we got an opportunity to do that for 3 days straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just something.
Yeah.
And I've been traveling my whole life on standby, no less. And I've never experienced anything like this.
Yeah. Laura, Bianca's therapist, who we're always talking about, or not therapist, counselor. I don't know what word. I don't know what she is technically, but that's one of her phrases. It's an opportunity. So whenever Bianca's like blah, 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 about something, Laura, so calm, is like, "Wow, I am so excited for you. What an opportunity to." Insert whatever. And it's like, and Bianca's always like, I'm going to light it on fire. Like, not what I want to hear.
Laura, you're giving me an opportunity to punch you in the face.
Right, exactly. But like, really, I mean, what an opportunity that was, if we look at it that way now, to practice all the things we've been training our girls with and working on ourselves and like all the things. Because I said it to you, I think by the time we landed in Atlanta and we're laying in a stranger's bed, while Daisy's saying all of her words next to us in the dark, we did it. Like, not only did we travel here and we made it, we did it. Like, no one lost their mind. Nope. No one yelled at anybody. Like, it just like, we did it. Like all the things we've been working hard on that you think, you just know you need in life and you want to be that kind of person. And it was like something like that kind of put so many of them. Yeah. There was a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was really proud of us.
Yes, we've been really focused on training in terms of like hard things come, but we still have to push past them in our kids. And it was
hard doesn't equal bad.
Yes, hard doesn't equal bad. That's a phrase that we say a lot. And it was I was really excited to see that, training works. Our family did it. And we did a pretty good job at it.
Yeah.
And so let that be an encouragement to you that as we raise children, like we need to train them up in the Lord.
Yeah.
And don't make sure you put the markers in the ground to say, hey, this works. Like, because, and I look back at the trip from Maui to Atlanta and be like, that worked. We did it.
Yeah.
We like, was it always easy? No, but like no fights, no yelling, no arguments, no total breakdowns. I mean, there were tears and there were just like general kid, I'm tired,
100%.
hungry, all that kind of stuff. But
I'm out
there
of
was
bugles. There were tears.
There was no like really big moments of peak frustration.
Yeah. And that's what's talked about a lot. If you read about any of that stuff with kids, is like, remind them, show them, tell them that they've already done hard things. Yeah. They've already done brave things, whatever it is they struggle with. They're already doing it because we're so, just as humans, I forget the science, but like we are so quick to forget those things, and the ratio of what we remember negatively to what we remember, like positively is not totally the right word, but just like, it's not the same. We forget that we can do the things we can do.
100%. I think we'll finish today by, I want to know what's like one of the funniest moments from the trip for you. I have one in my mind. I want to see.
Oh goodness. I was like, what are you smirking over there for? The whole trip?
Yeah, I'll go with mine first. So we're at the wedding because we missed all the stuff before. Our girls got their little goodie bags from Abby, like post-wedding.
After the ceremony. Yeah. Like while they were dismissing guests.
And Abby gave them these sweet little lockets, and Sunny walks up to me and it's like...
It was like an S and a J on it.
They're real sweet, real cute.
Such a cute little gift.
Sunny Dad. Look at this locket. And so I turned to Brooke and sort of whisper, it only cost your dad thousands of dollars in 4 days of his life.
But we love your locket, we love honey.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it was funny. She just like, that's all she needed.
Yep.
Little locket with an S on it. I needed way more at that point.
I feel like you had a moment in the bathroom that you told me about that was really funny.
In the bathroom.
With the stranger.
So I'm like totally blanking. Fill me in.
So we get off, we have to go to the bathroom.
Airport?
Denver. We get off the airport.
Okay.
Airplane. We have, you always have to go to the bathroom. I'm waiting for the stroller. That's kind of our divide and conquer. You take the kids out of the jetway. I wait for the stroller. You guys go to the bathroom. You were washing your hands next to someone who was on that flight.
Yes.
And they're washing their hands and they look up and themselves in the mirror.
Oh, yes. That's right. I'm like, I was in the bathroom so many times. I don't remember. Yes. This woman is like, doing her thing, comes out of the stall, washed her hands, setting her bag down, trying to figure out how the freaking soap thing works. Like every airport's different. And I kid you not, she looks up into the mirror and goes, ha! And audibly yelps at herself and her appearance. And I was just like, same.
We got to go home right now. Between the Maui trips, Maui cancellations, we got to go home and be in our bed and stuff. But all these people were on vacation. People had to go to hotels and
they're wearing the same clothes, and they were just like, by the third day we were trying to leave, they were like, but you live here. It was sort of like this. How dare you?
How dare you go?
We are not in the same boat. Yeah. When she yelped at herself, I was just like, monster.
Yuck face.
Yeah, it was yuck face. Yes. Yuck monster. It was good. Yeah. So, there's a lot of funny stories, but some of them we can save for the second part of this.
Yes. But yeah, we just wanted to sort of have a lighthearted episode. Obviously, hopefully you gain some little nuggets of truth in that, but the trip was it's just worth the tale.
Yeah.
And next week we'll kind of talk about the event and some of the highlights there.
Yeah.
But it was great. And we appreciate you guys listening to the Walk in Love podcast. Thank you so much.
Okay, I love you. Bye.